Hosting is important. No one knows this more than I do. Especially as a developer, I've fallen into some horrible pitfalls. That's why in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit more about it, and some of the mistakes that I made when I started out. Now you might be thinking, Adrian, I know what hosting is, why do you need to tell me more about it? Well, it's simple, because with hosting, there's so many different solutions out there, and I know that when I was starting out, I made some big mistakes. This is why I wanted to explain to you more or less why you should take hosting seriously. This video is also sponsored, so if you guys want to check out Hostiger, this is a great provider which does hosting, and I'll link this in the description below. Now if you haven't heard of me before, I'm Adrian from Australia. I do videos around design and development, so if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe and let's just jump straight into it. Let's go back 10 years to when I was in college. I wanted to learn development and I had lots of ideas. And I just wanted to get started. Young me didn't know the importance of hosting, so I thought it'd be cool if I just ran everything locally, on my own machine, since I already had a local dev environment up and running. And what better way to do this than to share out my public IP address and open up all my ports, since I didn't really know what I was doing. Then also trying to figure out why my website wasn't working every single time my dynamic IP address changed. These are all things that I didn't think I'd had to consider, but they're things that I learned the hard way early on. And this is where I started figuring out what hosting is. I didn't have much time. Being a uni student, I didn't even have a job, so I started looking for the cheapest option available. It wasn't in my state or country, it was on the other side of the world. And this is where I learned about things like pings and latency. You need a good ping, and this is the time it takes for a client to talk to the server. So when your server is on the other side of the world, or it's not a very good one in general, then this is going to be pretty bad, and it's going to take a long time for the website to load. This is why ping is important, and a local good provider is too as well. Of course, there's more to this than just pings. Things like data transfer speeds and data caps play such a significant role, especially when everyone's using video and images in websites these days. And then there are things like backups, which I wish I would have considered when I was younger, because I had some great projects when I was starting out, and they're all gone now simply because I never had any of those backups. A good hosting provider has all of these things: good ping, transfer, caps, and backups too. We're going to be checking out Hostiger and putting up a website on them to show you why I recommend them in this video. Let's start by going to the Hostiger website by typing in Hostiger. Here we've got hostiger.com, and this is where we've got a special Black Friday sale. Now there's only one day left for this, and by the time I post this video, there only might be a few hours, so make sure you jump on that as soon as you can. I'm gonna just log in here, and I've already got an account, and we're gonna have a look at how it works. Let's jump in here, and I'm gonna log in through Google. Once I'm in, I'm going to have a couple of different options here for hosting. I'm going to select the premium shared hosting in this example. This will have a nice setup which I can go through to get me up and running. I'm just going to select the get started option here. And in this case, I'm going to claim a free domain, which sounds pretty good to me. Now for my domain name, what's a good one we can do? Let's try something like maybe, enhance UX. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm gonna search for that and see if that's available. And from this, it looks like it's not. That's unfortunate. What about something like Tuareg Adrian? I haven't actually searched for that before, so maybe that is. Yep, that's available. So I'm gonna select to use that. We're gonna select to build a new website, but of course you can migrate one too. Then here we've got a couple of different options. If you're building a WordPress website out and you want something to pre-populate that for you, you'll be able to select the WordPress option here. Of course, if you want a store with WooCommerce, you can do that too. But for me, I want to create something from scratch, so I might skip this step. Finally, we'll select to finish the setup, but before we do, we want to select a website location. Right now, this is in Europe, and I'm not actually in Europe, I'm in Australia. So the closest one to me here is Singapore, and that's the one I'm going to select. Let's finish the setup over here and see where we go to. Once that's loaded, we'll initialize the setup, and this will take about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll be able to jump into a dashboard. So that's actually a really quick 3 or 4 minutes. But that seems like it's creating the domain, it's registering it, and I've got to fill out some details here as well. So I'm here in Australia. I'm just going to select that, and this is a personal account, and my name is not hello, it's Adrian. So let's put these details in here. Beautiful. Now that that's all finished, we're registering the domain, and usually whenever you register any domain, you've got to put in some sort of registration to prove who you are. Otherwise, anyone could register a domain without really any credentials, but that still sometimes happens. So what can you do? Let's load this up and see what we get. Great, this is going into the next initialization part, and looks like that's finished as well. So that's really cool, and that was pretty quick. Now we can jump straight into the control panel. Let's do that. Here in the control panel, we have a few different options. We've got things for hosting, emails, domains, servers, SSL, billing, and a lot more. But this also looks like a bit of a cPanel from what I can see. It's stylized quite nicely. I've got my IP address here as well as my domain, and we've got a couple of other options here. But what I really want to get into is the file manager, because this is usually where you have your website. So I'm going to open that up here. Here we're loading up the file manager, and if I'm correct, yeah, this looks like almost a cPanel interface again, but oh, we've got some information here. So definitely do not upload anything here, and here is my public_HTML folder. So that's the one I want to go into to create my website. I'm going to create a new file called index.html, and from here I'm going to select to edit that, and we're just going to say hello world. So let's go hello world. Hit save on that, and hopefully I can save and close and view that now. So let's right click and see if we've got an option here to view. If we open, that'll probably download it. So let's just close that off. We'll go back here and let's go to the domain. Now, I'm not sure if DNS has populated it, but it looks like it has, and it's up and running. One thing that we're missing is an SSL certificate for our website, and this is important because these days all websites need one. So let's set one up quickly here. There is an option to set one up, and it's going to automatically add it here to my domain. This has a number of options normally. You'll be able to do your own through services like Let's Encrypt, but a lot of them just automatically install now using their own services. I can see that this one has installed successfully, so now if we go to the website, it should just work, I think. Let's try that again. So here we go, and now we can see that it's authenticated, and we've got the little lock there, which shows that the SSL has been secured. Of course, there are other features that you can utilize here as well. Things like making sure that you utilize Cloudflare so that your website can be accessible at good speed all over the world, as well as making sure that you have backups, which again, I cannot understate how important this is. So many times I've had a problem with a website where I've had to restore to an earlier point of view, and backups have saved me in those situations. There are other things you can do too. Things like setting up your own VPS, and maybe going hardcore, setting up a GitHub repository with GitHub Actions and lots more, but it's really up to you. I've got a link in the description below, so if you want to check out Hostiger, check that out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.